self-proclaimed gaming professional. I don't know what that means. I don't make money playing video games professionally, but I feel like a lot of my life has been playing video games, following the industry, all that stuff. Hey, Ian Hansen, sup? Good to see you. OG supporter and mod over at Gundam Explained. Good to see you. And real quick, I haven't had a BlueGamer stream, I think, the last 3 weeks because I do take priority. The Gundam Explained channel has priority over my BlueGamer, but I try to fit it in. What happened was about 3 weeks ago, for my Gundam Explained channel, Bandai flew me out to their offices. So that really took up a lot of that week. So by Friday, I just didn't really have time. And then the week after that, on that Friday when I would normally stream, was Anime Expo I went to. And that was a lot of fun. Got some good content out of that. And then, just along with my full-time job, I'm just so busy a lot. So although I've been busy this week because even though it's right before the holidays, it's work. I didn't take any time off this week, and work has been busy. But also, I don't know if you guys remember talking about my office flooding, and I got the new floors you can see here, but then it flooded again yesterday. Cleaned it, took a while, and then it flooded again. So I spent most of the day today doing that and then installing a French drain in the backyard. On an unrelated note, I don't like the way my video looks. I'm going to have to tweak that. I have these separate profiles for the different platforms I stream on, and they don't have all the same specifications. I'll have to get to that later. But anyway, that explains why I haven't been posting lately on BlueGamer, but I'm going to continue to do live streams here, talk gaming. A couple things we're going to talk about. I'm going to talk about what I've been playing this week. I want to talk about Jirard the Completionist. And I know that's like a YouTube drama thing, but there's an aspect of it that no one's really talking about that I think is the biggest takeaway that I want to discuss, because I think we can all learn from it. So I'm going to bring that up, because really, if you try to go on the internet between YouTube and Twitter to talk about what happened with this charity, I don't think they're really getting to the crux of, what we can learn from this. And then I wanted to talk about the PS5 outselling the Xbox 3-1, because people are making that like a headline, like, oh my god. And it's like, well, there's a reason for that, and I'm going to talk about that. Okay, so I want to start with what I've been playing this week. I was about to jump in Jirard, but let me start with what I've been playing this week. There it goes again. There's like this little, I see this little hiccup every once in a while with my webcam, but oh well. Okay, so what have I been playing this week? Call of Duty. I still do that. It's not all the time. Usually, and I don't play that long. I play maybe about 30 minutes a day. And sometimes I'll skip a day, but it's just a fun little, it's both a appetizer and a palate cleanser for when I'm playing other games. Because the other game I'm playing that I love so much, I think it might be my top 5 game of the year, is that Warhammer 40,000 bolt gun. The controls on that are so good. I went from mouse and keyboard to gamepad. There's just something about the feel of when the controls are just tight and they work well. And again, big fan of using the Vader 3 Pro. I bought the dock for this. Now, what's interesting about buying the dock for this is I can plug the Wi-Fi dongle into the dock, and I've never had to disconnect. When before, this would disconnect, and that was a problem with another, the Machinike, if that's how you pronounce it, controller. That's coming out with a dock, although it's coming out with a dock with a new version of the controller, so I might have to get that. The thing is, I'd love to spend, although I'm probably not going to do it anytime soon, that Turtle Beach Stealth for $200. That's, Gamer Heaven reviewed that controller, and he went over it for like an hour and did a follow-up video, and he even did another video of like the best controller, and it's that Turtle Beach Stealth. So, Ian, if you're still listening, check out that Turtle Beach Stealth, because I think it's interesting how it seems amazing. It has an LCD screen on it where you can go through options and change things and get notifications, which on one hand, why would you? But on the other hand, if you can set it up to get notifications that are gaming related, platform related, so you can figure out, what's going on gaming wise somewhere. So better than a scuff. Yeah, actually, so if you search Gamer Heaven, he had pitted it against his top 3, which was the Elite, the Scuff, and the Stealth, and Stealth won. I thought that was amazing. It's really cool controller. Anyway, but I guess the point was, I've come around to enjoying playing FPSs on a PC with a gamepad. Even though I love mouse and keyboard, I think sometimes still mouse and keyboard makes more sense. But even like with RoboCop, it feels more like a RoboCop simulator with a gamepad instead of using the mouse. It's funny, because with a mouse and keyboard, sometimes I feel like I'm just using functions of an OS and menu system instead of actually playing a game. I guess because, during, my day job, I'm doing so much mouse and keyboard work, Excel, Power BI, mainly the Microsoft stuff, and for some reason it's way more like a I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to explain it, but anyway, let me move on because I can go on forever. The other thing was in Quake, Bethesda, Microsoft, whoever you want to call them now, since they're all under the same id software. In Quake, they released as part of the add-ons that you can go to from the main menu a free Doom add-on for Quake. So it's the Quake engine, but everything is Doom. The characters, or the character models, sprites, the map design layout, and I love the Quake controls. It's very similar to Warhammer 40,000 bolt gun. That's been a lot of fun. I realized I guess what is called a boomer shooter, even though I think that discredits a lot of the delineation between different types of shooters through the 90s and 2000s. So that's the only reason I don't like that. Plus, boomer doesn't really explain the audience that I know it's supposed to be used as a joke, but then I think people are then using that as part of the vocabulary. And I think that to me, it bothers me how they called Remnant a Souls-like, and Remnant is not a Souls-like. It's a Destiny, Division, Warframe-like. Anyway, let's see. And then in Doom 2, John Romero released part 2. I think it's called Sigil, which is really fun. I love the mechanics, with the Doom engine, he's able to come up with different mechanics for exploration in the world. Okay, and then what else? I've been playing on the PS5 Gundam Versus, and what I love lately is I've been using Shiaki on my ROG Ally to play my PS5 instead of being on. And what I do is I have, and this is another thing I don't think I've talked about on here, I have this thing called Mocha. It's where the coax cable throughout the house, which we're not using anymore, can carry a gigabyte, or I think it's like 2 gigabyte of data. So I plug this adapter in, have that go to my router, and then wherever there's coax in the house, like my PlayStation is now getting that direct wired connection. In my office, where I have the ROG Ally, I have this long extension cable that goes to a dock that has an Ethernet port, so my ROG Ally is always on wired internet. So I can sit here in my office, boot up the PS5, and it's 1-to-1. I can't notice any lag, not even buffering. Looks perfect, amazing. So I've been able to play more PS5s. It's just a lot more accessible that way. And I can't wait to talk about the news item here about the PS5 outselling Xbox 3-to-1, because there's an explanation to that. Okay. What else have I been playing? Because let me think. I've been a little busy, so I haven't been really playing as much. Again, usually the weekends I play more. That's about it. It's just been a bunch of first-person shooters other than Gundam Versus. Because in Gundam Versus, when I first got into Gundam, I was just playing all these Gundam games and not really spending my time with them and just beating them, having fun. And Gundam Versus is the first one I want to go to because they've already come up with a follow-up to it, but Gundam Versus is fun in its own way. The follow-up is like Maxi Boost On or something, which that's fun too. But Gundam Versus has its own unique, kind of simplified Gundam package. The music is excellent throughout. So let me just take a second, just in case, to think if there's anything else I've been playing. I don't think I've even switched on because it's been 3 weeks. Okay. Yes, there's something else I've been playing. And it's easy to forget because it's in a different launcher, but Avatar, that Pandora game. I think it has like a full title, and I just don't remember it. I am shocked how cool that game is. It's similar to Crisis, which I think, I you know, I yeah, if I'm thinking about it, I don't think there's been a time where there's been a first-person shooter that's been so impactful since Crisis. And in terms of like cutting-edge graphics, gameplay, there's been fun FPSs since then, but Crisis was doing something that I think a lot of FPSs have lacked since then. It's like changing around the formula. Crisis was a true open world game, but there were so many systems at play around the world that it was just so unique. Again, reminds me of Sniper Elite 5, even though Crisis did it first. I just like Sniper Elite's chapter approach level. Hitman. Okay, I talk about that stuff all the time. Anything else? Oh, here's something else. Because, yeah, it's been about 3 weeks, right? In Fortnite, they have that Lego game. That is shockingly amazing. It's Minecraft plus Breath of the Wild. It's not even Fortnite-like. What it is it's an advertising opportunity. Within Fortnite, developers can create custom games. It's just the Unreal Engine 5. So what Lego did, or 2K, I don't know, maybe Lego, who knows. Maybe Epic, maybe Lego paid Epic. But it's just a full-on Lego game in this world that they've created. And you mine, like in Minecraft, to build stuff, but the building is a lot more advanced in terms of, like, you can build villages, and then you want to level up your village. You have crafting tables, you level up the crafting tables. And then it's like Breath of the Wild, because you go out in the world and you have to, like, fight things, and it's more than how you would fight stuff in Minecraft. And the look of it looks more like Breath of the Wild than Minecraft. So, that's amazing. I love this idea of, like, a game as a platform. Games as a platform, not games as a service. I mean, Roblox does it. Fortnite's doing it. I think Call of Duty sort of does that. I hope after this Modern Warfare 3, they can figure out a way to make it where it's the same game, where it's not like, it's like, so like in Modern Warfare 2 with Modern Warfare 3, I have all that stuff together, but I don't have my Modern Warfare 1 stuff. So that's the thing they need to figure out, and I hope they do that pretty soon. I think they're going to have to, just because that's kind of the direction gaming is going. So yeah, because of 3 weeks, I think that then I could have missed something else, but I think that's really it with what I've been playing. So I want to talk about Jirard the Completionist. So if those don't know, this was a YouTuber that his whole thing was completing games on YouTube. He would just play through games and complete them. He was big working with indie studios. He would help promote their stuff. He was a host on G4 TV, a prominent video game influencer that has this charity called Open Hand Foundation. His mother passed away at a young age. She had dementia. And this Open Hand Foundation was supposed to support those in need of support going through this disease. So what happened was, there's these two YouTubers that I've just learned about recently. One is named Mudahar. I don't know what, it's some ordinary gamer. I think that's and then, it's just not my type of channel. Cool stuff he does, but it's more drama driven. And then there was Carl Jobst, I think his name is. I don't remember correctly. Same kind of thing. Like, when I saw his YouTube channel, it was like he's a speedrunner, but he has a lot of drama-based stuff, which, again, to each their own. I'm not into that drama stuff. But I've been following this drama because what happened was, those two YouTubers I had mentioned released a video showing that the Open Hand Foundation has never donated the money in the 10 years they've been operating. They've been holding on to it. And it's been sitting in the account. $600,000 has been sitting in the account. But it's probably more than that. It's just at that point they had $600,000 in the account and they've never donated it. But what was interesting in the video was they were showing the facts. They even had a call where they called Jirard on Discord to talk to him about it, and he was incriminating himself. He was saying things that were odd and didn't make sense. as someone that in my line of work, I guess, my day job, there's communication has to be very clear, and it, it's like you have to be very fact driven because I work with a lot of security, data security, and you have to be very fact driven with a lot of the things you communicate. Otherwise, a lot of money's on the line, and people need to be able to trust you. They need to be able to see results. You have to give the correct information, data, the facts. Jirard on this call with those two YouTubers, he was like backpedaling. He was saying things that they just didn't connect. And then immediately on Twitter, all of these people came out in defense of Jirard, saying Jirard would never do this. All this stuff that's like, wait a minute, why are these people just jumping to his defense when the facts are there? And then I'm thinking, okay, if all these people are friends of Jirard, why are they not being, hey man, yeah, what's going on? Can we talk about it? This tells me there's this bubble that has formed where Jirard has probably been in this place where he's been elevated among his peers and he's been surrounded by yes men, and people haven't really been truthful with him or concerning or caring. It's more friends in the sense of YouTube business partners. It's like, hey, you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. Not friends in terms of honesty, truth, etc. And so, and that goes to my number one point that I got from this is not my number one, but one of the points, because I think there's a bigger point here, is people were jumping to his defense like crazy, and they were wrong. A lot of people were doing this, and a lot of these people that were doing this are some YouTubers that have been questionable in some ways. And I don't want to give names, and I don't want to say what it is, but because I don't like to talk bad about people, but it's almost like I'm getting a clearer picture when online, when seeing what influencers are out there. It's helping me understand who to trust and not to trust. Because here's that other point that I think is bigger. Opening Foundation has been holding on to this money for 10 years. That means people that were needing this support have not been getting the money this entire time. Does that mean that's led to deaths? Not saying he's directly involved in that, but could have that saved lives? Could that have saved lives? Because nowhere in the conversation online are people saying, okay, yeah, maybe what he did is wrong, but and I don't know what you do about this, but people's lives were at stake. Do we need to be a lot more critical about YouTubers or influencers asking for money to donate to causes? Because it's not like they're causing people to die, but there are people that out there in the world that want to help, and they think, okay, my money is going to help people because that person has a platform, and they put their effort into that, and it doesn't do anything, where that person could have been like, oh, well, I should be taking my money elsewhere. That's to me, that's the big issue here. And people seem to be, again, it's more about, oh, he's legally in trouble. Oh, man, it's like they really only care about the drama instead of what we can learn from it. So, but here's the other thing. Jirard came back with a video saying that everyone's wrong. He's going to sue people that are talking bad about him or pointing out the facts. And it made it worse. It made it worse. And because he did this threat, then Mudahar and Carl Jobst, if I'm saying their names correctly, released the full Discord conversation with Jirard. And from my takeaway, I feel like Jirard was crying for help. Because if you dig into more of the details about what was going on, his father has been involved in charity organizations for a long time. Golfing tournaments, getting sponsors like Coca-Cola, I think, or big ones like that. But there were discrepancies within the tax filings that pointed to this. And when you're a father, a lot of what you do is an influence on your children. So could Jirard have kind of grown up with just taking the lead from his father, and maybe he thought this is wrong, but deep down it's like, well, this is his dad, and so when the facts are thrown in his face, it's almost like this is duality, where he knows what he's doing is wrong, but he hasn't been equipped with the space to be able to ask for help or to get out of that situation because he's so ingrained into it in his family. Because if you watch those videos, he is incriminating himself. He is saying the craziest things. He is saying things that would, if I was to articulate points that way within, like, you know, my day job, I would just be let go. I would be like, Adam, you're not clear, you're not concise, it's causing confusion toward the clients, we're gonna have to let you go. Like, a lot of times that's a barometer I use because I speak at very, like, sensitive levels with executive level people. It's like, you have to be clear, concise, honest with how you're speaking. So to see Jirard, it's almost like he was what we're seeing about, I feel like what we're seeing with Jirard is not his true self. It's been this fabrication that's been created because of what his dad has sort of, I guess, formed him into, thinking, okay, this is the right way to go about things. Anyway, I feel bad. I feel bad on a lot of levels. I feel bad for the dynamic between Jirard and his friends, where people are willing to defend him, even though the facts were there. Like, that whole thing is weird. That almost makes me think money was in that too, because in the full video that they released, or the full audio, Jirard even offers, in a way, bribery with money for this not to get out. And it's just, again, this is a sad situation. The people that really needed that support were the ones most affected by this. And luckily, he's donated the money. It's weird how after 10 years he gets called out and then he donates it all. Like, anyway, sad story. I just wanted to bring this up because I think at the end of the day, it's really important to know who your friends are, because they might need your help if they got themselves in a situation. And from what I saw online, no one's really Jirard's friend. Again, it's the YouTubers scratching each other's backs. Are they really friends, or is it a business thing? Yeah. And I think when it comes to charity, like, kind of when you're donating, look how easy it was for him to go 10 years and just collect all this money. You need to be careful who you're donating to. This could happen. Anyway, I wanted to get that out because it's been on my mind. I've been feeling bad for everybody. I hope it gets worked out. I think, unfortunately, Jirard is going to be in some trouble for a while. Yeah. Hopefully there's some sort of resolution to this. All right, moving on to some other news. So, it's interesting that there's a report that came out showing, like, PS5 has outsold Xbox Series X and S 3-1. And that's like a fact. You know, it's almost like if, you know, the forecast says, oh, it rained yesterday, and then YouTubers like, guys, it rained yesterday. And it's like, well, yeah, okay. I mean, we know that the console of a PlayStation will outsell the console of an Xbox. But here's the thing. There are more active monthly users on Xbox Live than PSN. And you know why? It's because Microsoft doesn't what am I trying to say? They don't restrict the gaming onto a console. I play Xbox games on my PC. I don't need the console. I can play Xbox games on any device you can download the Xbox app. When you're either Game Pass or cloud streaming, but Game Pass, you know, so here's the thing: with Sony and the PlayStation, if you want to do remote play on another device, you need a PlayStation, like their Portal, but you need a PlayStation in order to do the remote play to then play. And really, the point is, Microsoft made this point already like a year ago. Phil Spencer, console sales don't matter. Chasing console sales are going to get you in trouble, and that's where Sony is right now. Look at the shuffling Sony did. The layoffs they did, whereas Microsoft acquired studios, because they know it's about widening that user base across all, just like when, was it DOS first came out? Microsoft was like, yeah, any computer can run DOS. That was a big point change in the personal computer game. That was a big deal. And so that's what's going on right now between Xbox and PlayStation is you can play Xbox games on practically any device. You can't do that with PlayStation. In fact, on my ROG Ally, you can't use the PS Remote Play because you need the duals. You need hardware to play PS Remote Play. But there's other services like Chiaki that allow you to play these games without the PS Remote Play, and it works better. But anyway, the point is, I think people are looking at the wrong thing here. The reason the PS5 outsells the Xbox is because you need a PlayStation to play PlayStation games. You don't need an Xbox to play Xbox games. And Microsoft knows this. That's why they've been going down the path they've been going down. You know how much it costs to make a console, and you know how much it costs to play a game on the PC. It doesn't cost them anything for anyone to play a game on a PC. You know, they don't have to manufacture a console for that. So I feel like this all came out as more of a, wow, look at where Sony is, but it's like, that's not the direction the industry is going. And Sony knows this because they're having their first-party games show up on PC. And so, like, I guess a caveat then when I was saying you can't play, you know, you have to have PlayStation to play PlayStation games. PlayStation does release their games on PC, but it's not all of them. And it's not like you can... It's like there's an Xbox app on a PC, and it has a library of games. But if you want to play PlayStation games on PC, you either go to Steam, you go to Epic, you buy the one or two that's there. But what I'm trying to say is that's the direction Sony's going into. They are going to make it where their games are on all platforms anyway. That's how it's going to be for everyone. Pretty soon, you're just going to buy a pair of AR glasses, sit on your couch, and it's going to project an 85-inch screen in front of you, and you're going to have some third-party controller compatible with the glasses that you just sign into either Xbox, Nintendo. I don't know. I think they got their own thing. Or PlayStation, you know, to start playing games. Or Amazon Luna, since that's still around. Or NVIDIA GeForce Now, or something like that. Yeah, so I guess I don't know what my point is with that, other than I don't think people should be relying on console sale numbers. That's going to be going away soon. I think Xbox is in a good position because they have PCs already exist. It's like people are already making hardware for their games to run on. It's interesting. You know, it reminds me of, you know, Steam Deck versus ROG Ally, Lenovo Legion Go, et cetera, et cetera. It's like, yeah, on the Steam Deck, you get a Steam UI. Steam's been around for what, like, not 20 years, but 15 plus. So they've, for so long, they've been able to develop their own UI that then they can bake into a device that's limited to Steam. No Epic Game Store, no GOG. Whereas on, you know, the ROG Ally, it's just Windows. They have a layer on top where you can play games, but I can do whatever I want because it's a Windows PC. I'm telling you, that's the openness is the future, and I hope PlayStation figures that out, because I feel like they've narrowed too much like MCU into these narrative-driven games. I know I've talked about that constantly. Another thing I want to talk about here that is nuts. In my opinion, that's nuts. For those that have watched my videos, and maybe even me on the Midnight Hatter channel, or even maybe some on the Gundam Explain, I've always said that the best way for Xbox to compete with Sony is to have their own Marvel hero as a game of theirs, and I think they can make it unique, and my suggestion was make a Blade game. I love Blade, and so that's kind of the bias, but Blade has a lot of the things that makes a game awesome when it comes to superheroes, right? It has the vampire lore. He's a martial artist with a sword. There's a lot of action there. You know, and I don't know how much this really matters to anyone else, but, you know, a person of color as a superhero, you know, is a welcome thing at any time. So, Blade, martial arts. My idea was they would have Wesley Snipes do the mocap for the martial arts. So I think that would be cool. Anyway, the fact that they announced that this was going to happen, like that this is happening, it's like, yet again, do I have an idea that actually happens? Like, it's amazing. Yeah, Ian, Blade is confirmed to be an Xbox exclusive. Well, it'll be exclusive in terms of, again, PC, Xbox, anywhere that you can use Game Pass. And can it compete if it isn't exclusive? Well, here's the thing. I think Microsoft has some catching up to do anyway in a lot of areas. Like, even though it sounded like earlier I was saying, 3-1 PlayStation. It made it sound like I'm trying to support Xbox, but it's more I'm trying to make a clear picture here. And part of that is, Xbox hasn't been doing that great the past year or two. Now that they have all these studios, it's like, okay, then make sure these games come out and they're awesome. Bobby Kotick will no longer be at Activision. I don't know how much that's going to change things, but if Microsoft puts the money behind it, I think they can make this Marvel Blade awesome because mature rated stuff sells well. Look at GTA. Look at the Joker movie. You just got to position it right. I think Blade is awesome. I'm glad they're doing this. Just the studio behind it. What is it? Arcane or the Deathloop people? I haven't played Deathloop, but I downloaded it so I could try it out to see if it's to see if I can see some foundational things that studio is doing that would work for Blade because that's a Microsoft-owned studio. So what I'm hoping to see is like with Insomniac and Spider-Man, Microsoft can put the support behind the studio to make sure it is a AAA badass game. But that's a good question. Can it even compete? I wouldn't think it would sell. What would have to change is in the next year or so, Microsoft has some more Xbox stuff going on that I think it's going away again because what was it? Xbox has average 124 million players a month. PlayStation's 107. So already which sounds weird, but already there's more Xbox players, and that's not because of the console. That's just because of the service. But they need to do more stuff. Like if they, come out with the next Call of Duty and it has more of a Microsoft angle on it somehow to make it exciting, to make people want to jump to Game Pass. So then by the time Blade comes out, there's a bigger audience that's aware of or anticipating this Blade game. I find that fascinating. Hope to see what... the reason I said it wasn't exclusive is that the banner didn't say only on Xbox. Yeah, it didn't, but the studio is Microsoft owned. So... it's going to be an Xbox exclusive. But I think they don't say only on Xbox because that's the direction Xbox is going in, where it's not just on Xbox. It's anywhere that you can play those games, which is not a PlayStation console or a Nintendo console. It's very interesting. At least for now. I bet, again, like I was talking about with the AR glasses, there's going to be a time where any platform you just sign into the service that the games are on and you get to play them. It's just like right now on a TV. I can sign into Disney Plus for my Star Wars. I can sign into HBO Max for, what do they have on? I can sign into Amazon for Reacher. There's exclusives on each platform, and that's what's going to happen with video games. It's just the latency that they have to figure that out with internet bandwidth. And that will be figured out. Just because with movies and TV shows, you don't have to worry about that real-time data interaction, whereas with video games, you have to, the input lag due to the servers and all that. The definition of exclusivity is changing in a big way because of Xbox. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's all service-based. It's like you want to play, like a game might just only be on, and you know what? Here's a good one that I don't even know about. If you were to play a PlayStation game on PC, like they've released God of War, Horizon, Spider-Man, do you have to sign into a Sony service? Because right now, anywhere you're playing Xbox, you have to sign into the Xbox service. So I'm assuming that's the case. Um, it's just, yeah, Nintendo's in a unique position because their hardware is very unique. I can't wait to see what the Switch 2 is. It's got to be something out there that's going to change gaming. Um, just type in video games just to see if there's anything else going on. China deals with restrictions on online video games. That's really interesting. As much as you hear people talk bad about China, they like to reduce, the time people spend on these things that would make money for corporations. So it's like, well, China's not then about corporations making money. It's about having a mindful population. I don't know how much of negative China information we get, from the Western world is really just propaganda, especially considering things happening in Ukraine and Israel. A lot of it is from U.S. intervention with weapons, killing people. So I try to keep an open mind to that, especially anyone in China is just another human, another person that they wake up in the morning. Maybe they make their bed, maybe they don't. Then they got to think about how they're going to pay their bills. I don't like to just blanket like hate a country. Except no, I'm joking. I don't think there's any country to hate. Okay. Oh yeah, there's that Insomniac hack, which was very interesting because it's not like anything got leaked. It's they got hacked and their files were out. And if you guys don't follow Safety News with a Z, that's another channel I'm on, and I do their weekly security news, cybersecurity news. That's definitely going to be a news topic for the next week, so the week after. I don't know what the holidays if we're going to get the video up. But it's crazy because it's like you could fully play their Wolverine game on an Xbox. So that's pretty insane. I'm not even going to bother even trying to do that or even really look into it. I'm that type of person. I'll just wait for when the game comes out. Like, if there's a movie I'm excited about, sometimes I won't even watch the trailer. Wait. Video games based on movies from James Wan, Sam Raimi, and more are in the works. Okay. You had me at Sam Raimi. Let's see what it is. Okay, the names on board include movies produced by horror giant Sam Raimi. So Sam Raimi, The Burden is from James Wan and Sam Raimi. Every House is Haunted from Sam Raimi. I don't really understand. I was hoping to see something that was Evil Dead or Army of Darkness. Okay. I think I'm gonna be done. I'm actually hungry. To eat something. I'm also really tired. Had a busy day. But I'm doing next, and I probably so make the first Friday in 2024. I'm gonna do my Game of the Year show where I will probably name my top 5 favorite games and then some runner ups. Because they're like it's another reason why it's hard for me to trust like not and I hate to say journalists now because a lot of people that talk about video games online that are and I don't mean that in a mean way, but it's just people that have to get content out there. There's no way that they're playing all these games, and even if they are, there's no way they're doing it in a focused manner that allows them to take it in a natural way. A lot of it is painted with the deadlines, and so it's interesting. Like Giant Bomb is one of my favorites to watch, but and this is what I like about Giant Bomb is I don't agree with a lot of what they say, what they do. It's just like when you're hanging out with friends somewhere. And they named some stuff and that it's like, well, there's still so many games that have come out or games they didn't even name that I'm like, that's very interesting. Especially with, a lot of, they're very on top of Nintendo stuff. They didn't even bother bringing up Kirby because that brand new single player campaign they had in that Kirby remake was amazing. That I would hope Nintendo makes a follow-up game that's just based on that. And I forget the character's name. It was like some floaty dude, but it had some mechanics that were not Kirby at all. It was a whole new, unique game. So yeah, you'll get a game of the year thing from me. And then what was the other thing I was gonna do soon, game wise? Yeah, you know what? And I want to also do something where it's like my favorite games of that I played in 2023 that came out before, because I want to gush about Bloodstain. Um, is that it? You know what? It's scary. Like what I'm like. I think between COVID, the economy trying to bounce back, layoffs occurring because the interest rates kind of trickling down into the ways companies, invest into things. 2024 seems to be pretty barren in terms of games. I think someone brought up that Space Marine 2, a Warhammer game. I can't wait for that. Actually, 2024, let's just look it up since I feel like talking some more. 2024 game releases. All right, upcoming release schedule. Wow, actually, let me share my screen because this is a lot of stuff. All right. And what I'm going to do is just go through and then I'll bring up if I think something's worth. I might try the Prince of Persia. Tekken 8. Okay, so Tekken 8 for sure. There's something about Tekken I think is like if it was a dead or alive, I like fighting games. But it's like I don't like Mortal Kombat. I mean, I like it, but Tekken to me is more of a type of fighter. Let's see what else. There's that Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, but I do not see myself playing it unless something neat happens. Helldivers 2, I don't see myself playing that. I played the first one and thought it was okay. It was just a less cool version of, what was it called? Alien Nation that was on PlayStation. Alien Nation's amazing. And Helldivers was like a lesser version of that. Helldivers 2, though, is like a third-person thing or something. They changed the perspective. Tomb Raider 1 through 3 remastered. It would be interesting if they do a whole remaster. That could be cool. Gunvolt Records Chronicles. So Gunvolt is like the series like Mega Man. I don't know if I'll play that though. Mario vs. Donkey Kong. Yeah, it depends what that turns out to be. Because a lot of times nowadays with games, especially the remakes, different genre types, sometimes a game might not be what it seems. Skull and Bones. That's been delayed for a while. I'll only play it if I hear good things. Although I do have Ubisoft Plus, so I'll probably play it. Slave Zero X. Isn't that? Unless this is isn't Slave Zero? Yeah, from 1991. Very 1999. Yeah, very cool. That Slave Zero X. Wow. It's the first time hearing about that, but okay, I'm gonna play that. Terminator Dark Fate Defiance. That's funny. I doubt that. Destiny 2, The Final Shape. Yeah. Oh, Star Wars Dark Forces Remaster. Heck yeah, I'm playing that. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I've never played Final Fantasy VII. I've never played through a Final Fantasy game. I've always thought about that. Like the main games I want to play through that I've never played through before: Final Fantasy VII and Metal Gear Solid 2. Alone in the Dark, Dragon's Dogma 2. Okay, so March. Dragon's Dogma 2. You know what's not on this, though, that I realized that should be happening soon is the Elden Ring DLC. Because that's 100%. All right, let's finish looking through this. Yeah, Dragon's Dogma 2. Black Myth Wukong. Space Marine 2 September. Nothing October, November, December. To be announced. But you can't really go by this because Assault Suit Lanos 2, Saturn Tribute. Wow. I can see that getting released in 2024. Division Homeland. Contra Operation Galuga. I can see that getting released next year, that's for sure. Earth Defense Force 6, that's interesting because that has been out in Japan for a while. So that would have to come out next year. I bet that's going to come out like March next year or something. It's interesting what I'm seeing here is a lot of like brand new things I haven't heard of. G.I. Joe Wrath of Cobra? That could be cool. I played that other G.I. Joe game, and it wasn't good, but it wasn't bad. It was fun. And I beat it. That's right, I played through the whole... It's weird how I will play through that G.I. Joe what is it called? I don't know, that G.I. Joe game, but I haven't played through the newest God of War. Hades 2, Early Access. Horizon Forbidden West will come to PC. John Carpenter's Toxic Commando. That sounds amazing. I'm afraid it might not be good, though. Only because that sounds too good to be true to turn out like something amazing. You know, it's very auteur-like, yet first main game. I don't know. John Carpenter, who makes amazing movies. What's my favorite John Carpenter movie? I think there's some obvious ones, but I would give a special shout out to Lords of Darkness. Is that what's called? Lord of Darkness? Love that one. It's the story ideas stand today. So what was your least favorite game this year? Least favorite? You know, that's a good question because there are games that might be my most disappointing, but then there are games that I can be like, that's just not that great. And I would almost say the Sonic Superstars, because it let me down. It let me down so much because it's not good. And I hate to say that, but then I'll see people that are defending it that are usually good about being critical about Sonic. Just looking at some of my PC games, even though there'd be other like if I take off. Oh yeah, because those will show other games. You know what's funny? That was my least favorite, but that Armored Core game was fine. It was a little underwhelming. Okay, yeah, that was September. Yeah, I can show the stuff that I had played but have uninstalled since. And I might even bring that up to the game of the year. I'm probably going to talk about how Sonic was just a little mainly lame, like super lame. Especially with Mario Wonder released right next to it. Mario Wonder like showed how to do the formula of the old retro style mascot platformers, like how you evolve it. And it's funny because Sonic almost tried it because it had like the gimmicks like in Mario where you can like choose an item that adds an extra power for you to do in a level. Yeah. Yeah. Because I'll talk about a few of the games I was disappointed about. In terms of like where they can improve. That's how I'm gonna do it. It's like this game turned out like this. They could do better if they did this. Star Wars Outlaws. Wow. I don't know if that's gonna come out in 2024, but I'm totally gonna play that. Oh, is audio going in and out? Well, I am going to end here shortly anyway, so and then a new Test Drive Unlimited. Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. Interesting. Again, these are going to come out next year. Okay. Just about does it. Thanks all that hung out. Wow, I did a 51-minute stream. There's a lot to talk about. Thanks, Ian, for hanging out, making me company, talking games. Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway from some of the stuff I talked about earlier is watch who you're donating to and know to reach out to your friends. Like, if something's going on, can you support them? Can you help maybe talk to them into doing the right thing if it looks like they might be doing the wrong thing? You know, I don't know. I feel bad about that whole situation. But that does it. Glad that Microsoft listened to me and they're making an exclusive Blade game on Xbox. That was my idea. Phil Spencer, you can hire me as kind of like your idea man. But yeah, that does it. All right, guys, have a good weekend and Christmas, and I'll see you next Friday, hopefully, because I don't think I'm going to be too busy. I should be streaming next Friday. Peace out. Get on GBO2? Maybe. We'll see, because now I'm going to like eat and chill, but...